1972 show, the QB and the OG. I'm TJ Downing, in it to win it with the QB who can spin it. Jim Ballard, the quarterback, College Football Hall of Famer, joining me as always. A couple special guests joining us today, man. Can't really wait. Top 10 all-time NFL rusher, Pro Football Hall of Famer Curtis Martin.
It's another day at the office.
Yeah.
It's one of the best ever.
Speaking of our office here today, man, Hall of Fame Village, powered by Johnson Controls. We'll get a chance to have one of our partners from there come and join us in just a little bit, kind of hear about the different phases going on as we're looking out here right now. Got some big heavy machinery rolling up and down the road, paving some stuff, clearing some land, getting ready for some new projects. Water park.
We need some good news. I mean, yesterday was, this weekend was brutal for Ohio football. The
Yeah.
Buckeyes took one on the chin. The Browns lost a tough one. I mean, Burrow down in Cincinnati is the only saving grace. They wanted overtime, but and Mount Union didn't play this week, so they had to bye. So they didn't lose. But all in all, pretty
Don't
tough.
expect the Purple Raiders to lose in week 2 yet.
Tough weekend for Ohio.
Yeah, interested to hear your thoughts on C.J. Stroud and what he was able to do. I mean, obviously, you look at his numbers from a quarterback standpoint, from a stat line standpoint, it's pretty good. But a lot of people are barking that he didn't finish.
He made a lot of plays, and he threw for over 400 yards, most yards ever by a freshman in Ohio State history. One of the top 3 games statistically ever as a quarterback at Ohio State in his second start. My concern isn't so much with Stroud. Stroud's going to be a great player. Love Henderson out of the backfield. That kid's got Reggie Bush, star power in him. The wide receivers look good. Olave, Wilson. It's the defense. We can't stop the run very well. I think that Coach Coombs needs to dial it up a little bit more, start dictating what the offense needs to do instead of him just waiting, stepping back and letting them control the game with how they call it. I think we need to, get back to the silver bullets, man. Start bringing more corner blitzes. Start bringing more linebacker blitzes. Get quarterbacks off platform. Too many times, the quarterback was able to have a lot of time and dissect the field and get it to whoever he wanted. So we defensively is what scares me more than anything.
When I was down there in Columbus, Jim Haycock, all-time legendary defensive coach down there, took over from Mark D'Antonio as the defensive coordinator. He had a saying in his room, affect the quarterback. We have to affect the quarterback. You talk about a platform, talk about affecting the quarterback. Every time he sits in that pocket, he's got to be thinking, there's a silver bullet coming for me.
Where's it coming?
And overall, looking at the defense, especially from the secondary up, just didn't see that physicality. You didn't see a cornerback that wanted to come up and just stick somebody, a safety coming down into the box like a killer Mike Doss or Dante Whitner that wanted to take somebody's head off. And to me, really, I don't know. Is it the way that the penalties are being called nowadays? Is it the targeting? Obviously, there was a no call on the targeting from an Oregon defensive back going right into the back of Olave. That should have been a call. No call. I mean, that looked like the definition of a targeting, right? So are these defensive backs and linebackers, because they're in space out there defensively, do you think their game has changed and it's gotten a little bit more finesse because they're worried about getting tossed out of the game, missing the first half of the next game, and hurting their team?
No question about it. It's so hard to. I would never want to play defense in today's game.
No.
Even if you try to do the right thing with hitting what you see, keeping your eyes up. I mean, there's times where if I go to tackle somebody and I start getting low to try and get around the waist, what happens if the guy drops his head at the last second? Then it's helmet to helmet,
right. And
it's not intentional. So how do you tell a defensive back how to hit, how to tackle? Do you lead with the shoulder? Do you keep your head? I mean, there's got to be different techniques that they're using now to help these guys tackle. But it would be brutal to be a defensive back or safety in today's game.
It wouldn't be fun. And obviously, I played offensive line, so that was the real fun stuff as well.
I didn't want to tackle anybody. I just wanted to throw the ball.
Another thing to me, I guess, you flip back over to offense, the rotation of the offensive line. Thayer Munford comes in to the season. He's on the Outland Trophy watch list, and that's he's now dropped down and played guard, and they're going to put DeJuan Jones out there at tackle. They want to obviously get Paris Johnson into the deal over at right guard, and then without having their center available, I believe there was some COVID stuff. I don't know if he's banged up or injured, but they put in the young guy, Luke Weipler, who, has struggled at times. And when you're doing a lot of that shotgun stuff, those snaps are paramount. They're key. I mean, they have to be in that window. You as a quarterback, you want to still be able to see downfield, knowing that ball is right here. Having to take your eyes away, like C.J. Stroud has had to do it a couple times. That's not a great thing. Obviously, for a center, you want to be able to have it in that window every time. But if you can't get that window there, well, obviously you have nose guards and shades over top of you that you're having to worry about. And for Thayer to have to drop down there in the guard, now he's playing next to T. Frere, who is obviously another guy who's on the Outland watch list. I think the shuffling of this offensive line has kind of slowed the offense a little bit.
They're running the ball pretty well. I like what they have in the backfield, no question. They're still figuring out on the offensive line the best unit that they can put together, especially with the center being hurt, and or COVID, whatever that situation is. So they're having to throw guys into different positions. The fact that Thayer Munford is playing guard just shows you the type of versatility he has as a player.
Yeah.
I mean, all that does is increase that stock.
Could make him a lottery pick in the first round.
I saw one publication that had him as the 7th best offensive lineman in the country. So we'll see. But again, I think playing guard helps him out. Whether it helps the Buckeyes out right now, I think it does, because they've had to move different pieces around.
Right.
They've been able to put points up on the board, big plays. They've been able to run the ball pretty well for the most part. Again, for me, it's going to come down to the defense, and they're young in the backfield. I mean, let's be honest. They had 4 or 5 guys get drafted off that defense last year. A lot of them were at the corner and safety position, and they're starting to rotate new guys in, new faces, and when you start out the season with Minnesota, who's middle of the road, probably in the Big Ten, but then you come out with Oregon. It's a tough game at home, and they just didn't score enough points, but it was a good game, and I'm sure Coach Day will rebound from this.
Does it help or hurt having to play Tulsa, or I believe Tulane coming up, and then Akron after that? Obviously, Akron's had their struggles. We know that from being around the area here, but does that, playing somebody that may be a step below you in competition, does that hurt you or help you coming off of a tough non-conference loss? Do you mask some things on defense? Are you really going to get better against teams that you're probably going to have a 40 to 50 point spread against?
I think it's one of those things where you could look at it that way, but maybe because the competition is going to be as high, maybe they try some different things or try different players in different positions.
Yeah.
I think those are the games, that you're able to do that and still be able to come away with a win. So I think it could be very productive for Ohio State to kind of flip the script a little bit. Maybe they, were on a bubble butt player, not playing or starting, and now they bring in another guy and then rotate guys in and out. So I think it's a good opportunity for them to take a step back, evaluate what they've done really well for the first 2 weeks, and just figure out what they need to do to fix what they haven't.
Yeah, switching gears, you look up to Cleveland. They had to go out to Kansas City yesterday. Talk about one of those guys defensively over the last couple of years has been drafted as a Buckeye, Denzel Ward. He was a bright spot over there, but just not able to get it done at the end of the game. We talk about finishing. Your punter gets out there and hadn't punt all game. The Scottish Hammer. He gets out there and not what Sir William Wallace would have wanted.
There was no freedom there.
It's tough, because you think Baker, you're on the road, you're getting some redemption against a team that knocked you out of the playoffs last year. Speaking of targeting, nothing there. I loved how Baker Mayfield got around the edge and actually got to block Sorensen, who was the guy who targeted last year, but it didn't get called. So I was looking for the pancake block there. He didn't get it, but he did get into him though. He kind of dipped that shoulder in there and kind of lifted him up a little bit. I like that from the quarterback.
Baker swag, man. He's been doing that since college.
It's got to be tough for him though, man. Thinking, dude, I'm on the road. It's hard enough to win on the road as it is in the NFL. You're going to Kansas City against Mahomes, maybe the best quarterback in the league, and you got the lead in the fourth quarter. You got a 2-score lead. You're up by 9 points in the third quarter.
They were there. I mean,
to drop that, that's a punch in the stomach. Not to mention, 17 years since they've won an opener.
It's
been 17 years.
They were lost for words. Imagine that. No, but they were right there, and they were right there last year. And there's no moral victories, but you can see,
Wait,
can't-
when you cash that check Monday morning, that's a moral victory, right?
Yeah,
We
just
got a
like-
couple extra zeros on the back end
Yeah,
of
the
it.
league minimum, almost 600,000. But anyways, you watched the Browns play yesterday, and whether you're a Browns fan or not, you came away from that game thinking that team's for real.
Right.
That team belongs. That team is in that conversation with the elite in the AFC.
Yeah.
I mean, exceptional game plan from Coach Stefanski. Alex Van Pelt did a great job as the OC. Defense played well. You know, it was Mahomes being Mahomes at times. You know, just guys were in good position to make plays. Johnson, the one-on-one 50-50 ball with Tyreek Hill.
Right.
I mean, who makes that throw? Not many. And, you know, it's just plays like that they were close. You know, and then they ran the ball well with Chubb. They ran the ball well with Kareem Hunt. I thought Baker made some big-time throws. Njoku had an outstanding game. But it just wasn't enough at the end. That turnover killed him in the third quarter. Huge momentum shift. And the one thing you haven't talked about, TJ, other than the Browns being on the road in Kansas City, is how hard it is to win in that place.
Oh, yeah. It's hard enough to win on the road in the NFL
period.
as it is. But
That-
Arrowhead?
and
Seattle.
And then Seattle. Top two noise-making stadiums in the country. And the Browns handled it well. You know, a couple things defensively at times where they, you know, jumping off sides,
Not
clowning.
to mention, you lose your left tackle, Jared Wills.
Yeah, a lot of positives to take out of that. But I know what Baker was trying to do. I know he was trying to throw the ball away.
He was? Okay.
I
100%, or is he trying to fit that in there? Because that defender's right there. I can't think, if he doesn't get caught by the back of his feet, I think he is trying to throw that away, but you just don't really know.
I think he was. As a quarterback, if I'm evaluating that and watching that, and watching the reads that he made the whole game,
Yeah.
I mean, he really didn't force a lot.
He's gonna roll. He's rolling out of the pocket, and he's gonna go ahead and just shoot that over that tight end's head, over Hooper's head, and just live to fight another down.
Just take what the defense gives you, throw it away, live it, and it was first down.
Yeah.
So
him
there's
getting caught by the back of his
no
feet. That's what caused it.
there's no way that he was trying to complete that pass. But in the NFL, it's not high school where you just got to get past the line of scrimmage or throw it towards the receiver.
Right.
You don't have to have it like a foot away.
Right.
If you're making an effort, especially with him getting his legs tackled, the referee's going to realize that he's simply trying to throw it away. He's not going to call for grounding.
Right.
And in that situation, in the last 2 minutes, you cannot take a sack. So you throw it away and it stops the clock. So I'm going with Baker trying to throw the ball away. It just didn't work out. He threw it too hard. The leg, with him getting his legs, maybe it propelled the ball a little bit. But anyways.
Just need a little bit more propulsion.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of a guy who didn't get caught from behind much, Curtis Martin, we're going to get a chance to hear from him. We caught up with him during enshrinement weekend and got a chance to spend some time with him. Great guy, gave us a lot of knowledge about what he does off the field, what's kind of really led to his success. So we're going to get a chance now to hear from Curtis Martin. And when we come back on the 1372 show, the QB and the OG, we're going to be joined by one of our partners at the Hall of Fame Village. Going to come up here and kind of tell us about the different phases and different projects on where they're at right now as we look out here and we see the shell of the Constellation Center for Excellence building starting to getting ready to move some of their new partners in, a Starbucks going in there, and obviously everything else that's going on around the grounds of the village. We're going to get a chance to check in with one of our friends from down the street. More 1372 show coming up after this. All right, welcome in on the 1372 show. He's the QB, the College Football Hall of Famer, Jim Ballard. I'm the OG, TJ Downing, and we're joined by a very special RB, number 6 all-time on the career rushing list, Curtis Martin. Talk about what it's like coming back to Canton and seeing what the village and the vision and how it's kind of changed over the couple of years since you've been inducted.
Well, every time you come back, it's like you're coming back to a new place because they build more things. I think that they're doing a great job. They've made this more of a home for us as Gold Jackets when we come back to the Hall of Fame. And we appreciate it, and so it's been a pleasure. We all come back because we want to support one another, and we want to support the new inductees coming in and let them know that, we're there. I mean, this is one fraternity that you can't even die out of.
Yep.
Because forever your bus is going to be in Canton.
All right, talk about the excellence you sustained over your first 10 years to be able to get inducted into the Hall where you rush for over 1,000 yards in those first 10 seasons. That's kind of the landmark for the running backs, right? And then for you to come in there and sustain that over 10 seasons, a decade in the NFL. Talk about what you did in the offseason to prepare your body to be able to do that every year in and year out.
Yeah, well, for me, I prided myself on being consistent, as a man, period, like outside of football. I want to be trustworthy. I want to, have character and integrity, and I want to be consistent. I find that when you're a consistent person, you can accomplish most things. You just might have to take small steps and chop it down little by little. And so during my career, I knew that in order to perform consistently, I had to train and do all the little things and pay attention to the details very consistently. And that's what I did. I was always looking for an advantage during the off season. I would fly out to California just to run these certain stairs that I would run every day. I would go to different places to run mountains, whatever I could do to get an advantage, and that's what it takes.
Unbelievable career, 100 total touchdowns, 14,000 yards, one of the best running backs, obviously, to play. I thought it was fascinating that in 2013, like you said, carrying yourself off the field, the things that you're doing, being part of that 5-man down in Miami to come up with the conduct code for the unfortunate incident with the Dolphins, with Richie Incognito. Talk about some of the things that you're doing post-career with your charities and with those types of things.
Yeah, well, for me, my entire career was always about using it as a platform so that I can have impact. True story on draft day, I told everyone after they drafted me that I didn't want to play. And there was a guy there who told me, he said, well, Curtis, maybe football is just that vehicle that you've been blessed with to do all those wonderful things that you say you want to do. And that's what gave me the appreciation for football that made me pour my all into it, because I realized that every yard I gained, every touchdown I scored, it was just opening up more doors for me to reach more people.
I've run a quarterback academy locally. I live in Canton. I've been here for a long time. And the one thing that I talk about that you just did is the end game isn't the NFL for most guys. You were fortunate enough. I was fortunate enough to get there for a few years. But the lessons that we learned, the being a part of a team, understanding your role, being able to get along with others, but just using the game is what I tell the kids. The end game is if you want to play in college, we use this game to get us to college, to help get us a better job, and to help us do a little bit better than what our parents did. That's the end game, and I think it's great that you recognize that, to be able to use this platform to reach so many guys.
I wish that all guys, not just in professional football, but in all professional sports, would understand the opportunity and the platform that they have. This is, for me, the NFL has become my resume.
Something you did.
For everything that I'm doing from a business standpoint, most people already know me because of football. And that's what your professional career in sports can be, because it's not going to last but so long. You're going to play till you're maybe 35 at max, for most people. And there's still a whole lot of life after that.
A whole lot left.
And the way you conduct yourself on the field and off the field, it's going to have a huge impact on the life you live afterwards.
No question about it. It's great to see you utilize the platform and recognize the fact that you were able to use this to get where you needed to go, and myself included, not to the extent that you did, but to just realize, what a fraternity this is. One thing, I played with the Bills in 97, 98 with Thurman Thomas, and he used to make fun of me because I was a Mount Union kid, D3.
Right.
And he's like, Jimmy goes, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you go, it just matters where you end up and what you use the game for after.
Right.
And it's great to see you being so successful off the field as you were on. And we appreciate you taking the time to spend some with us.
And that was my goal. My goal was I wanted to be so successful off the field because of what I've done on the field, that it positioned me to be even more successful when my career was over. And I just really hope and wish that guys would really understand that, because there were things that I sacrificed early on in my career. I've sacrificed millions of dollars, but I was playing the long game, and now some of the things that I'm positioned to do and some of the things that I'm doing, I'm so glad that I've sacrificed
Far
those
more
things.
money now than
Yeah.
that.
At C.H. Vallis & Associates, we've been proudly serving the greater Stark County community for over 78 years. Locally owned, we cover your home, auto, business, and life insurance along with your group benefits. Our partnership with auto owners has allowed us to span not only Ohio, but throughout the entire country. Did you know that Auto Owners, an A++ rated company by AM Best and a Fortune 500 company, has ranked C.H. Vallis & Associates a top 10 insurance agency in the state of Ohio? From your basic home and auto needs to insuring some of the largest companies in America, there's a reason people choose C.H. Vallis & Associates and Auto Owners. Our dedication and passion for our clients and their coverage is part of our commitment to excellence. For all your insurance coverage needs, there's only one call to make, and that's C.H. Vallis & Associates, located at 1302 South Main Street in North Canton. Contact us at 330-494-2776 today and see the difference in customer satisfaction.
Show the QB and OG, TJ Downey, Jim Ballard, Clint Fetty joining us from the Hall of Fame Village. Appreciate you coming up, stopping in, and giving us a little update on what's going on around here. We were just talking about the NFL Alumni Academy getting ready to start. But first off, your guys' whole process, when you go back and look at the entire enshrinement week, I mean, you had 2 and 1 this year. Do you guys go back and say, okay, listen, these things here were all great, these were successes, or are you, obviously you were an athlete, do you go from the competitive standpoint of, okay, here's where we could have done this or that differently? Are you highly critical on your evaluation of how the whole process went?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole week, enshrinement week itself, is obviously a bear, and just running everything through with 4 events this year. But yeah, we're critical of it. I mean, the goal for us is to give everybody a great experience and a great time in Canton, Ohio, when they come here, and hopefully enjoy our facilities and the stadium and the campus as a whole. So yeah, we go back and kind of regroup the following weeks, and we're still doing that. Probably for a month, we'll go through and kind of talk about what we can do better, how can we make the guest experience better. Obviously, with the village, we're excited to keep adding amenities and new things, so when people come to campus, they can kind of come see it every year, and adding the restaurants and the retail that'll be here in the future, the hotel, the water park coming. We feel like that's going to obviously enhance any enshrinement week or any other event that we run.
Now, you talk about your position a little bit here. I mean, from my aspect, you pretty much control all the grounds, and you're pretty much everywhere down here. Through the different phases of what you guys have going on behind the fields over here, you've got some dirt being moved. You got a different project going up on here where the hotel will be at and up in front of the actual hall. Kind of talk about what phase you guys are in right now and what is actually at the top of the list being done.
Yeah, so I mean, my position really, I'm the VP and GM of sports here for the village. So my true position is really to drive traffic to Canton, right? So we want to bring in events and games and tournaments and do things in the stadium and do things at our sports complex that we're continuing to add on to. But yeah, really for us, it's right now the phase is we're getting a lot of the amenities built at the sports complex. We're completing the stadium with the new scoreboards that are up that you'll see, when you come in for games the next 2 weeks with McKinley. The Center for Excellence is just about ready. It'll be occupiable later this fall. We've started phase 1 for the retail. Retail 1 is up. They've formed the foundation this week, and then they're doing all the utility work right now with the hotel and the future water park. So a lot of things moving, a lot of moving parts, but excited to get it going, and excited to have dirt moving and people to drive by and kind of see it. But really excited for people to get in the stadium this fall and people to come out to the sports complex, and we'll be out there next spring with new fields and new amenities for people to come visit.
So for people that don't know, what is the Excellence Center? What is it about? It's this part of phase 1, as you were talking about. What is it, and what does it bring to the whole Hall of Fame experience?
Yeah, so the Constellation Center for Excellence at Hall of Fame Village is really a multi-use building. There'll be an office, there'll be some retail space, there's a Starbucks going into that space. There's a kind of a TED Talk conference space as part of that facility. It's really going to be kind of the hub in the middle of everything. It's obviously the west side of the stadium, the scoreboards on that side. But with Constellation, everything that they do as a company and energy, we're going to be able to add some different meetings in there, and a lot of offices that we're leasing out and things to different companies.
The one thing for him and I, when we get to broadcast games up here, we did the McKinley Austintown Fitch game. I mean, you are absolutely locked in with that scoreboard that was just put up down there, and now with the new one that you guys have put on the front of the Center of Excellence building. I mean, just that experience alone, I mean, talk about it from a fan's perspective. I mean, you're walking into one of the best arenas in the country.
Yeah, I mean, as a former high school AD myself, I mean, you don't go to high school stadiums where you've got one big board and to have two on both sides. It's
Far cry from Reynoldsburg.
Yeah,
huh?
far cry. Yeah, so but it's a great, great experience. And, as we kind of tune the technology right now, you'll see the next few weeks we're still adding things, both screens sort of mirror themselves right now. But as we go, we'll be able to play separate video on both screens, have scoreboards running on both, obviously, but kind of really make it an immersive experience when you come in the stadium. So we hope if it's a high school football game, a pro game, a concert, whatever it is, that you're able to really be fully immersed no matter what part of the stadium you're in. If you're here to broadcast the game or if you're down in the seats to watch and have a good time.
Man, appreciate you coming on here and just kind of giving us a little bit of knowledge about what's going on around the grounds of the Hall of Fame Village, powered by Johnson Controls, and what's going on with the sports complex down there. And I'm sure we'll have you back out here and continue to update us as more things continue to get built. I mean, it's nice to see. I mean,
Exciting times in Canton.
And when you talk about just coming down the highway, I mean, when you see that, it's funny. I live off of Fulton, and I can tell you probably a dozen times in the last month, I get off on 62 because I get caught looking over here and I drive right past the Fulton exit. So, I mean, it just draws you in, man. I mean, it's truly special. So appreciate you joining us on the 1372 show, the QB OG. We'll be back more with more.
So we got one more question. We're going to send it down to the Bantam sideline reporter, my son Jack Ballard. He's got one question
How
for
you
you.
doing, Jack?
What was your favorite stadium that you've ever played in?
My favorite stadium that I ever played in, I would have to say, was the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium, because I'm from Pittsburgh, and in Pittsburgh, Jack, the Steelers are like gods. And everyone, if you're a grandmother, if you're a baby, if you're a mother, whatever, everyone in Pittsburgh they're all Steeler fans. And so I remember my second year in the NFL, we had to go back to play them because we were one game away from the Super Bowl. And everyone just thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to the Super Bowl. And we ended up playing them, and I had one of the best games of my life. And that was probably my favorite stadium to play in because all my friends were fans.
96.